on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
It's 7:36. It's O'Connor and Company with Larry and Mercedes on this Friday. Thanks for joining us. It's going to be a hot one, but we're going to keep you cool as much as possible. We can't get overheated. We got a country to save. Coming up at 8:05, the Republican chairman of the Republican Party of Virginia, Rich Anderson, and at 8:35, Jennifer Say trying to save women's sports. I'm Larry O'Connor. That's Mercedes Schlapp. Buenos dias,
Larry,
Mercedes.
it's not Pride Month, it's Larry O'Connor's birthday month. That's what we're going to call it.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Now people are going to send me rainbow
Every day should be a Larry day.
Joining us right now is one of the commissioners of the FCC, Brendan Carr. Commissioner Carr, always good to talk with you, sir. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, great to be with you. Thanks.
So $42 billion is what was part of the so-called Build Back Better law that Joe Biden campaigned on and pushed through. $42 billion that was supposed to bring high-speed internet to rural areas. Washington Times reporting this week that not one home has been connected to the internet with that $42 billion. Commissioner Carr, wasn't there a deal already in place where Elon Musk and the Starlink system would be able to provide this for much less money?
Well, you're right. During the Trump years, we had a deal with Elon Musk to use Starlink for about $800 million in federal support to bring high-speed internet to over 600,000 homes and businesses across 35 states. And in 2022, this new administration canceled that award, and they replaced it with this promise of $42 billion to come. That was 2021 when they set that goal out. Flash forward to today, and as you noted, not one home or business has been connected with that $42 billion. A lot of people remember a couple weeks ago those stories about the 7 EV charger stations that had been built based on $7 billion, and I guess now 7 completed looks, I guess, pretty good in comparison.
I think
and I hear Biden continuing to campaign on this. He goes to black communities and says, it's outrageous. No one should have to sit in the parking lot of a McDonald's to connect to Wi-Fi to do your schoolwork. We agree, but this problem was already solved before he came in. Do we know where this $42 billion has gone? Has it not been spent yet because of government red tape? What's the status of this?
It hasn't been spent yet, and what the government has been doing in the meantime is they've completely wrapped themselves around the axle of these DEI requirements. So they've used this time to put in place DEI obligations, climate change requirements, union preferences to hire justice-impacted workers, instead of just focusing in on connecting rural Americans. Now, there's other pots of federal money that are out there that are being used to build out to communities, but there's problems there too. In many cases, the Biden administration is doing that for dollars on the penny. They're spending thousands and thousands of dollars more to connect Americans than we did using the Starlink system. In other cases, they're overbuilding existing networks rather than focusing on those communities that still have 0 over 0 megabits per second. I mean, at this point, the Gaza Pier is looking to be more successful than this $42 billion initiative.
My goodness. And then we've got these the infrastructure that the Biden administration had poured a lot of money for these for basically the EV charging stations. This also an issue because it seems like Larry can't get from Washington D.C. to California in the rate that they're going.
No, I can because, again, Elon Musk solved that problem with Tesla. It's like, seriously, every single thing that the Biden administration is fumbling on, Musk has already done with his various companies.
That's true. So are the Democrats, will the federal government take any blame? Because this is also being pushed into the state, right? Because are they state grants?
Yeah, what's amazing by this is the Biden White House has come out and they said, first of all, we're really proud of the headlines that we're getting on this, which is amazing to me. And then second, they're saying, well, we're moving as fast as the law requires. That's not true at all. First of all, this was President Biden's deal that he got through Congress. Second of all the problems we're having with this, 9-step iterative process, reviewing these state applications, as you noted, were rules that were put in place by Biden's Commerce Department. So they have tied their own hands here, and they're complaining about the outcome of their own rules. There are things that can be done. We can step in really quickly. We can reorient this program. We can save it but it's going to take some different decision making at the top.
This really is just a question of leadership, is what you're saying, Commissioner Carr. And this is a problem. I used to poo-poo this and say, oh, please, who isn't on the Internet? But there really are. We have many listeners of our own who live in rural areas in Virginia and Maryland, and they have horrible Internet coverage out there. It can be solved, can't it?
Yeah, and what Mercedes was saying is true. This isn't a one-off. There is a sort of rot at its core when you look across all of these infrastructure initiatives that the Biden administration is pursuing, from EVs to Internet here. And the problem is they're taking their eye off the ball. They're focusing on things like DEI requirements, climate change requirements, rather than just getting dirt turning. Again, $42 billion, 2021 is when it launched, and today not a single shovel's worth of dirt has turned. And they're saying it won't turn until 2025 at the earliest. That's just not getting it done.
And the only thing that will right this ship is probably just getting somebody new in charge of the executive branch, right? I mean, ultimately, Congress can scream about it, and they can, threaten to cut off funding. But ultimately, the executive branch is where these things actually get done. And if you've got a feckless CEO, you're not going to get anything fixed.
Yeah, it does come down to the executive branch, so whether it's President Biden, hopefully in the near term, or someone else down the road, I do think that that's where this can be fixed. You can eliminate these extraneous conditions and just get back to focusing on the bread and butter of, turning dirt and getting people connected.
Well, I remember when net neutrality was going to ruin the internet.
I think the private sector
everything.
Works. I don't know.
Imagine
let
that.
Elon just take care of it and not waste our taxpayer dollars.
Commissioner of
the
the FCC,
Brendan. We unleashed so much private sector builds. When I started in 2017, for those first 3 or 4 years when I was on this job, we deregulated, we got the government out of the way, and we were setting records for new fiber builds, new small cells going up, 5G leadership, and we sort of flatlined on all that recently.
Brendan Carr, we got to leave it there. Commissioner of the FCC. No complaints about us here at WMAL recently, right? We're still keeping our nose clean. All right.
All good. Yeah, you're still all good.
All right, thanks. How many strikes do we get, by the way? Just curious, because I want to be able to.
Yeah, you got at least one card to play. You haven't called it in yet, so we'll see how that one goes.
Good to know. Keep that in my back pocket. There you go. Chairman of the FCC, Brendan Carr. Thanks for talking to us, sir.